Alright, so we're going to try to change the subject here, and I'm trying my best not to use any profane language because it's a religious issue. And I know the sexual scandal in the Catholic Church is getting to be a big topic, and there was some credible resources because the secular media, especially America, is very anti-Catholic. It's not going to report that there are people within the Vatican, especially Pope Francis, stopping the situation. It's not going through because you have corrupt bishops. Shout out to that sister, who was a sister. She was part black and part German. I think we were doing Pope Benedict or Pope John Paul. They will say the Pope was trying to stop the racism in the Catholic Church in the United States and have bishops go against it, but they failed to do it. And I want y'all to understand, they're not breaking down the detail. And if they did break down the detail in the United States, they're going to, since the United States is a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant country, and very anti-Catholic since Thomas Jefferson, okay, they're not going to tell you the side that's getting rid of the problem, or the bishops and priests who are going against the problem, going against the sex scandals. They're going to tell you that they're all in part. It's like saying, okay, in the black neighborhood, Pookie and Ray Ray shot a car and shot a cop, and therefore the cop deserved to kill him. And so all the black folks in that neighborhood are guilty. That's what you get my point. I had to put it like that, okay? So in African people, Hispanic folks cannot sit here and try to take sides with a media that like to paint everybody as guilty because they belong to one group. Look at people as individuals. So I do all I can to do individuality on my channel when it comes to critiquing. Now, when it comes to this, I always have said this as a Catholic convert who is a liberal in society. And I'm going to explain why I'm a liberal in the United States. I just said earlier, America is a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant country. It is not a Catholic country. So I'm not a Catholic liberal as in the church liberalizing the doctrines. I'm talking about in a country that does not even include or respect me as the part of a true Christian church, because it was founded by Jesus in Matthew 16. They had the same keys that Jesus gave Peter, and Simon Peter to St. Peter, were the same keys for Isaiah 22:15-22. Okay, I might cuss, act a fool in this channel, but I know my scriptures. That's why I never become Protestant. And I'm glad that St. Peter wrote in the Bible that there's no prophecy or personal interpretation of scripture in his second letter, his first chapter, 20:21, excuse me, and the third chapter of his second letter, which is 2 Peter 3:15 and 17. Now, he was told scriptures because when I was a Protestant, you never talk about this, but it's like people who are Protestant who are anti-Catholic trying to say that, oh, read the Bible. I just gave you Bible verses and you still debunking me. That lets you know you're brainwashed by your pastor. It is what it is. So, as a Catholic who is a minority, who is a person of color, and the word Catholic means universal because Saint Ignatius of Antioch was the one who was under St. John, one of the disciples of Jesus, who was getting taught by him as a bishop. He gave the name the only Christian church. There was no Orthodox, there was no Protestantism, none of that stuff. Catholic, Catholicos in Greek, it means universal because Jesus wanted his church to teach all nations in the last verses of 28 of Matthew. So the truth of the matter is that when, as a Catholic, and the white Catholics in the United States, just like the Jews, do cover up this anti-Semitism. It's funny how if you're in Hollywood, you talk bad about a Jew. And I did a video about this when they're talking about the R. Kelly and sexual scandal at SNN. You're out of a job. When what's his name? When Mel Gibson, who made, and I do believe that I love the Passion of Christ. I didn't like the Protestantation of it when they did not put a Catholic Bible verse of it. of in the trying to get American crowd. I understand, but please stick with truth, okay? But I do see anti-Semitism. I remember they were saying the next thing this dude gets drunk, and it's a white Jewish cop in LAPD or one of those California cops, and Mel Gibson. Now it's funny. Like Mike Brown, Mel Gibson get ratchet, ghetto, rude, and curse them out and talk about type of Jews. Now, and you heard from Mel Gibson, and I heard Mel Gibson say the word nigga. And Whoopi Goldberg was all defending this dude, you know what I'm saying? So it's weird. Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, her. Okay, remember Ted Danson, blackface? Yes, her. Now, let's get real. And Whoopi Goldberg's a former Catholic. She became Jewish. Yeah, she was Catholic growing up, and she became Jewish later on. Now, I heard she's an atheist, but that's I heard. Anyway, so, but I didn't do some research and digging. A lot of white Jews, just like white Catholics, because they live the white privilege, they ignore their own religious bigotry, and so they can enjoy white privilege. I'm calling like it is. Not all. I'm just talking about a significant number that does not want to talk about racism, because part of the Catholic Church teaching is no one I talk about race a lot. Social justice is part of the Christian faith. Okay, now, when it comes to minorities, I noticed this. We're not, of course the Hispanic population is big, and you have the Asian, the Africans, immigrants who are Catholic, especially Nigerians, okay? However, when it comes to African-American people who are Catholic, whether it be those who are part Creole, like myself, I was Protestant, and those who are not Creole, we're overlooked. And even when I was in issues with my family, and I was in the confessional telling them why I sinned, why I wanted to kill them, this and that, and I mentioned how they treat me because it triggered that. You had priests defending the family, even though the family of mine are against them. And it was like, huh? I mean, don't condone my sin behavior. You should understand why I'm in a toxic. There was nobody trying to give me no assistance in the Houston diocese, and as I said, I'm glad that they got a sting operation, because it's not just a sexual scandal, because we rarely hear one here in Houston. It's mostly outside of Houston, okay, or in Dallas, or LA, or Chicago. Well, here we go, Chicago, like, all right, Chicago, there too, Chicago, New York, Boston, whatever. And a lot of them try to blend in the white Anglican Protestant conservative culture here, even though it is very anti-Catholic, it can be heresy. So now I see that there's conservative, in the American sense, Catholics, especially white ones, are now attacking Pope Francis. Beginning of Pope Francis, when he got in, when it was the shortest Pope term with Pope Benedict, Pope Francis came in 2013. And Pope Francis is an Italian immigrant, Italian immigrant that moved to Latin America. They somehow classify him as Hispanic, you know what I'm saying, because he lived in Argentina. And a lot of things were happening. And they're bringing up scandals when he was Bishop Bergoglio, that's his real name, that he covers his scandals in what's called Argentina. And I'm starting to question that that's untrue. Because first of all, they're not speaking Spanish. They're not translating the Spanish news reports. Because you know how American politics are. And I don't mean bringing you to chemistry. I'm not friends with that dude, Kim 123. But he's right that American media do make their own interpretation what's going on in Latin America. And then not get someone that speaks Spanish to translate the actual report. So, when I noticed that ever since the sexual scandal has been going on again, it's been talked about, because I always notice every time a Republican person gets in office, the two Bushes, the Reagans, and now we got Trump, here come people being anti-Catholic. But during Obama and Clinton, you had people very active in the Catholic Church. People up when Obama was president, and people was loving Pope Francis. We had Olivia Pope talking about Kerry Washington from Scandal, talking about how much she loved the Pope, and she's not even Catholic. We had everybody liking the Pope. But when Bush was president and Pope Benedict came in 2008, you had tons of media talking trash about the Pope. You know, Bill Maher, who was a Catholic and Jew, who was an atheist and very, I can't say, when he used the N-word and stuff, I was glad that he got checked by Ice Cube. Okay? And then before the N-word, he was making Catholic jokes, anti-Catholic jokes. During 2002, I stopped watching A Politically Incorrect. I remember when he was talking, I said, how dare you? But if you talk about, even though he was he's a secular Jew, he's one of his parents is Catholic, one of them Jew. So I don't know if he was raised Catholic, raised Jewish, but he's an atheist. Bill Maher, and I wasn't shocked when he used the N-word. So I'm glad. I've been telling people he's not a good character, good man, good white man. No offense to all white people. I make some white men down payment for myself. So now, since Pope Francis when he came in, he named himself Pope Francisco. Francisco, Saint Francis in Spanish, English, when translated, was a saint that was for the poor, and he was going to reach out to the poor. A lot of white Catholic Americans who are Republican are very, what's the word? Not communists, consumers. They believe in consumerism just like the white Republican Protestants. And they don't care about the poor. I noticed they'll talk about going to soup kitchens, okay? And I know one thing that I see why a lot of people become Protestant, okay? Which is, you need to be careful of that too, because it's a false interpretation. And you have Protestant sexual scandals and other scandals, and bishops, not bishops, but now the Protestant are taking the term bishop. It went, the only Protestant denomination that used the word bishop was Anglican and Episcopalian. But now you have the Kojic, you have the Baptist. We had the Catholic Church had that, and the Orthodox. Okay, it's kind of weird that y'all trying to talk bad about something, but you're taking ideas from okay. So anyway, so when a lot of these white people in America who are American first and Catholic second, and knowing that there was posts before them talk bad about Americanism, about how Protestantism and consumerism and and capitalism, how greedy it is. Nothing wrong getting your business like I want to be own, but still give to the poor, feed the hungry. That's what Jesus said in Matthew 25. Notice that when I was dealing with my issues with my grandparents who are Protestant, even my grandfather was agnostic, and my dad's an atheist, and then in Catholicism within families and so-called friends and former people who went to my church who was Catholic became Protestant, and on the job, like it was like a attack, like it was a satanic attack everywhere I went before the sexual scandals in the second Bush days. Bush the second. And a lot of white Catholics that I know who are Republican voted for Bush, and I told them to not do it. They wouldn't listen to me. And it's all because they want that white privilege, even though that this country was not for Catholics or Jews. It was for white Protestant people. Because remember when Catholic immigrants and Jews came in, there were no Jews allowed, no Catholic, no Polish, because a lot of Polish people are Catholic. Not all, but many of them are, like no Irish or Italian. They was getting into those segregation days. As I said, it's funny that Fox News used puns of the white community who are not W.A.S.P. Because when Donald Trump says Make America Great Again, he's not talking about putting them in the same pot with them. It took them a while to put Italians and Irish as white, even though they're from Europe. White identity in America was white Anglo-Saxon Protestant people, conservative Protestant, okay? Now, so what happened is, so those who want to send it to a white melting pot, okay, they would do the dirty work, be against African Americans, Hispanics, Asian, immigrants of color. And they do it, but they forget that while they're attacking people of color, and you have people of color attacking African American people, ADOS, okay, Americans, descendants of slaves, the Africans and the Caribbean people, the Hispanics, the Asian, they're on the chopping block too. Okay, let's be real. Okay, and you have African people, who don't want to come up in life, who want to be the Pookie and Ray and the thugs and hood rats who are agents of this. Let's call it like it is. You got the uppity ones, but you got the ones who don't want us to be uppity. Because we do need money. In the book of Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament, it does say money is everything. Okay, you can't go to the store and steal some Skittles, okay, or steal some M&Ms. Because you think money is evil. And money is not evil. It's the love of money that's evil. Okay, that's why you have the arc and doning, harvesting, and human sex trafficking, even slavery. Okay, understand that the Africans and so other Africans to white Europeans are African and so it was about money before it was a race thing. Okay, the greed. Okay, and you wasn't just Catholic people involved. Because I know Ann Catholic on my channel. You had Jews, you had African folks who did not believe in Catholicism or either Protestantism. You had Baptists involved, Protestants involved. You had Muslims. You know what I'm saying? You ain't telling Nation Islam, it's not the Orthodox Muslim. You ain't telling them about that. Okay? Understand, everybody's hand was in this pocket of bad money during slavery. Black folks, white folks, they include either Native Americans here, some Nemus and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand, slavery was just like the drug game, crack game, prostitution game, sex trafficking, and art. It was a dirty money business. Okay? Let me say, dirty money business. Okay? So don't go with me with this. Okay? And speaking of dirty money, a lot of white people who are racist, who are Catholic or Jewish, would try to cover up their fate, pass as W.A.S.P. White and Protestant people changed their ethnic European names to sound Anglo. It's not all, but this is a trend now. Look at this, y'all. So that's why, okay? Because Italians did go to color schools. Yes, they did. One period of time, you had Italians in color schools. Yes, that's true, okay? You had Irish. That's why some of us have Irish backgrounds, mixing with black people because they wouldn't classify as white. You want to marry a white person, they not classify as white. You marry Irish Italian. Okay, Martin King grandmother was Irish. Okay, understand? A lot of folks don't need to read this stuff. Okay, so and Muhammad Ali great grandfather was Irish. Okay, married to a sister. Okay, not raping, married to a sister who was free. Okay, a lot of folks don't understand this now. Okay. They don't teach us this true history. You gotta stop thinking that the American schools are just American school in America is very uneducated itself, and it's training you to be a worker for in the industry. They don't want you to teach you entrepreneurship. They'll teach white wealthy children, especially boys. Have to go there. Sexism become involved to be business minded and how to attain money and to keep money, but normal, especially in integrated schools, they're teaching people to go get a job. Nothing wrong with working. A man doesn't work to eat. However, you don't want to be working for everybody all year. You want your own business, okay? And they don't want that because if they teach people to have, they ain't gonna have no workplace. Let's call it like it is. Either you're gonna go to work, you drop out of school, you're gonna sell dope, sell sex, eat legally and do all that other stuff. Then sad part, sell organs, and in this day and age, okay, that's the point. So either be the prison complex slave and be a slave and to prison, especially for color, they target, or you're gonna go to school and be a productive society to a corporation, and even the corporation give you money and benefits, you still owned by that person. The person sometimes treats you, even Pope Francis had to go there, said stop exploiting your workers. While I'm talking about this, that the conservative Catholic American people are attacking Pope Francis, he's doing the work of the Lord. I'm sorry. These scandals that they're trying to cover up on Pope Francis are false, especially when they come within. So you're going to the media, and it's funny, you're going to the media that hates Catholics within the Catholic Church to attack the Catholic Pope, who is not going to allow you to have successful scandals in the church, not going to allow you to scream at your flock, okay, because she just made videos on wrong reports saying that rigidity behavior, being rude, it's not good. That's what the Bible say. That's what the Catechism say. Why? Because he's putting the work, what's on paper, coming from God, the sacred tradition that St. Paul talked about, the Thessalonians, chapter 2, 14 and 15. That's why we have sacred tradition in Scripture, okay? And together, so therefore go hand in hand. Point is, that's the whole reason why. He's going to debunk all this mess going on. So the people who are guilty, what it is, in my theory, the conservative American Catholic, especially those who are white, not all, those who color as well, involved. You voted for Pope, voted for Trump. Trump and Pope Francis do not get along. Trump has warned people not to vote, but you had Catholic, white Catholic people in America who want to be like the W.A.S.P, who don't like the Catholic Church. Remember, Bob Jones University, Bob Jones is a very anti-Catholic and racist university. And actually, Bob Jones is a Klansman named after the university. Folks understand. Bush went there, and folks who are white, though I ignore it, he just going there. No. He went there for a reason. It's funny that he exposed sexual scandals in the Catholic Church, but not the Baptist Church. It took my videos. I'm going to say it, because where does Houston Chronicle video about the sexual scandals in the Baptist Church? I'm the one who did a video a couple weeks before that article came out. Just like this Lou Pearlman and Backstreet Boys about this arcade. Y'all need to start getting. Don't be making me pin this like the dude that's working with Elvis Presley. Okay, that Michael Jackson exposed. Okay, when it's talking about Tom Mottola, let's get that now straight. Okay, y'all better give me some down on true clout. Leave some clout tracing for some truth, not for some fake and false. Okay, fake and falsery and everything. Now, as I was saying, so the good Pope who is not for abuse, trying to get rid of abuse, trying to get rid of bishops who have allowed it and ignored it. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. It's not only it's a homosexual ring, because I know it's going to say it's a homosexual trying to be anti. Of course, homosexual is wrong within in nature. You're supposed to be having sex with outside of the not outside marriage, inside a marriage of the opposite sex. I'm trying to say, okay, I mean a man and a woman with the traditional marriage. However, you're trying to get rid of a pope that's trying to get corruption that's been going on for years that y'all benefit from. Because the reason why the children have been sexually abused, and which is the boys, it was also girls, by priests, is because you taught your kids from a Protestant upbringing. You're Catholic. Children should be seen, not be heard, and stay in a child's place. I'm an ex-Protestant. I know these old terms, and it's funny when I go to Mass, so I don't go to church here in Houston, I do see some Protestantism in these priests talking. And I'm an ex-Protestant. I don't want nothing to remind me. I understand the Protestant parallel of the Catholic teaching if it's the same thing connected. But outside of the Catholic teaching, if I see Protestant corrupt teachings, that I was hurt by, and then you have folks acting like what I went through from my Protestant upbringing in the Catholic Church, they're not supposed to go there. That's why. So news media, like the Houston Diocese, are now trying to contact the Vatican to get some of these folks especially here in Houston, in these dioceses who have allowed this mess to go on, who ignore the screams of children, is to get rid of the people who are involved, who have let it, like the cover up that Tasha K was saying about the archive. Thank you. So what's going to happen? He did. Oh no, let me go attack the good person. The person who's doing the good work of the Lord, who doesn't want this to go on. I'm going to attack that person. See, you will vote for a president like Donald Trump who's corrupt, who doesn't care about anybody, and who only care about white, wealthy people because you think you can get some of that money being white. Ever since he became president, now sexual scandals became back in. When Obama came in, okay, the argument was about abortion. And I'm against Obama defending abortion. However, my question is to these folks who keep bringing it up about the Democrat Party and abortion. Why every time a Republican is in office, abortion has not been considered to be abolished? Because if you don't vote for somebody who wants it done, you want them to be in office to get it done, right? Obama let gay marriages legalized, okay? Okay? Understand that. Of course, it was more than wrong. But then I can't take America seriously because America's not a Catholic country. It's a Protestant country. They had slavery legalized, and it's not legal based on personal church scripture. Let's be real, okay? A lot of the laws that we have here in the United States are very unjust, and it's based on personal interpretation of scripture. Just like here in Texas, a lot of laws are corrupt because the law folks will sit here, ignore what's on paper, and go along with their views, and then try to make a law that further their agenda based on their interpretation of scripture. It is what it is. Now, that's how I know this. You gotta see through the line. So Pope Francis went against Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, in my opinion, is trying to get folks to get Protestant. See, if you're going to get people to not do the work of the Lord, you gotta paint the person who they did Jesus that way, and he did his apostles that way, make him look like the bad person. So folks turn against this. Okay? So you're talking about sexual scandals that happened in the 70s. My question is, why the laws in that area did not react in the 70s? This is 40-something years ago. We're talking about, okay, so that meant in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, or whatever it was, Philadelphia, somebody in the police department failed to stop that priest before they got switched. And let's talk about switching the priest. The reason why it goes on, and I've always had a burning feeling to tell the whole puppet this, I have a big mouth. A lot of people keep saying that there are no more priests. We live in a Protestant culture. You teaching someone not to have sex and remain because of St. Paul's letter to Corinthians chapter 7, and what Jesus said in was it Matthew chapter 9 with the eunuchs. Okay, that's true, but we don't live a Protestant. We live in Catholic culture. We live a Protestant culture. So we have a lot of priests coming from countries of color, like in Latin America, Africa, especially Nigeria, and the Philippines, Vietnam, Asia. And imagine these men of color coming to a predominantly white churches. That's what it is. I've always said this. They'll get somebody who's corrupt in those countries to speak with it. It is because we dealt with some Nigerian priests who are not nice people. Not all. I'm saying the ones in the Black American church. And trust me, believe, when I told, even them integrated churches with a lot of Nigerians and still white and Hispanic, Asian, whatever, especially Southwest side, and I go ahead and say St. Thomas more, on Hillcroft, yes, I had to go there. On Chino, yes, okay, that priest, the Asian one, was complicit to trying to tell me, like, give me a word of despair, like not trying to give me a word of advice to get out of my predicament when I was going through issues. I'm out my family house, but still, that dynamic of this. Thank you. Then you had the priest who's Nigerian, who was very rude. Until I said, I'm telling Pope friends, no, yes, I was a snitch because you're being corrupt. You're being a wolf in your clothing. Like, I don't read scripture and I don't read books about this. Like, I don't do my research. You ain't the other Christians know, but I do. Okay, now, because I don't want it to happen to me again. Now. So understand that now, since the news media in like Harris County is trying to go to Vatican City to get the Pope involved, imagine the Pope come to the United States and see the mess that goes on in America, and the people who have ignored this problem about sexual scandals and other scandals, they're gonna be excommunicated. They'll be criminally charged. And they will be the ones who thought they were good people or not be seen as good people. So the folks now, they're trying to throw Pope Francis in the back because he is trying to do the work. If he changed his name to Pope Francis because St. Francis was one of the saints that doing God's work, will feed the poor. And who are the poor they're talking about? They ain't talking about poor white people. Let's be real, y'all. They talking about poor people of color. You doggone right. You doggone right. The ones who don't look like the white. If there is colorism. That's right. And they're going to talk about those in the ghetto. Okay? Especially African people and Hispanic. Thank you. So every time I go to church and I have a big old bag of my stuff. Okay? All these other people with cars and they don't try to give me anything. I ain't trying to get their own money. They don't try to teach me to obtain money, get a trade, offer me a job when I was going to church. Do you understand that? No, they let me stay where I am. This is not Matthew 25. This is not 82 a song. This is not a Good Samaritan that you read in the scriptures. So Pope Francis is trying to put that not pose it, but actually make the church supposed to be on one street, not go out and detour someplace else. These people trying to bring their political white supremacists they learned from their white English and Protestant brethren into the church over some money. Over some money. Because they're not trying to start taxing the Catholic Church. Okay? And that's going to be an issue as well because, but at the same time, y'all voted for presidents who had sexual scandals. We all know about Donald Trump had sexual scandals as well, what he said in that Trump. But before Trump, you had Bush and Reagan. 20 years ago, you had the Franklin Report cover up. In Boystown National House, Boystown Shelter, those folks used, the Republican Party had pedophiles going to have sex with boys. The only person that got in trouble was a light-skinned brother named Lawrence King. The white politicians that worked for Reagan and Bush did not get arrested. And every time you try to bring to the media, they try to throw that on the bus. But to talk about the Catholic Church scandals, but they're going to talk about the Franklin Report. And John Walsh is a Catholic from America, was America Wanted, Most Wanted. And remember his son, I think, rumor has the son was kidnapped by one of the sting operations. I mean, or the pedophile ring, they had something to do with that. I'm not sure. I think I read that or sort of whatever. But that is the reason why. So now these white people who are bigoted, who are Catholic, who did not do the work of the Lord, who chose the white racist W.A.S.P money to pass as WASP, who did the same atrocity that was done to them in America to minorities, especially African people, who are using, and one thing I noticed in the Houston diocese, they try to ignore these scandals. I'm not talking about like trying to train the people how to deal with people attacking their faith. You know what I'm saying? You don't throw, if you're a shepherd, never throw your sheep to the wolves. Well, during 2002, when the sexual scandal of Boston broke out, and then, of course, it happened in 99, but it took a couple years later to broke out. It's like, dang, the same thing with R. Kelly. I noticed that as well. Weird. And even on BET, they had a brother named Father Kelly making fun of R. Kelly and putting a priest costume. Y'all saw on BET. Okay, y'all remember that show? Yes. Okay, a crazy, stupid brother on there. Okay. It's weird that they got that resource for National Catholic Register that's about the sexual scandal in 99 because they're trying to get this mess out the church. This is a Catholic newspaper. You know how a African or Hispanic newspaper talk about their problems with their own community, but the white race media will try to, exaggerate it to paint everybody in. That's thinking. That's what happened, okay? So understand. But guess what? White people who were racist, who voted for Bush, they was quiet about this. It's like they wanted minorities because it affected most of minority churches, especially black Catholic churches and black and Hispanic ones. A lot of the Hispanic people, African people who were not getting no resources from the diocese, especially here in Houston, we're not getting no help. You didn't have no apologetics. You know the reason why I started going to my African Catholic Creole church, started going to a mostly white, mixed, integrated. They had more information about my faith. They had about apologetics. I found about the Catholic League, and I try to get that introduced to my parish and the elders. Here we go. I'm tired of dealing with elder people and the priests, both the white one that died back in 2001 and the Nigerian one. They didn't want to talk about the subject. Every time I talk about Catholicism, they like to try to ignore. I like, how can you ignore anti-Catholicism and Catholic apologetics to know the faith from the Bible? Okay, that they will keep the faith strong. Every time I notice that, but it's not just the white ones; it's our people. Whoo, Lord Jesus, people, African people. I swear, people of the ADOS community, whether they're a Creole or not, where it's like anything y'all want to ignore serious topics until you hit you on the behind, because I want to cuss here, then you want to talk about it. Because when I came back from El Paso, I met one of the sisters in the Fifth Ward who went to my church, one of the brown skinned sisters that went to my Catholic church, and she said they had to borrow priests that they have less membership at church. Yeah, because you didn't want to talk about things I'm talking about. You wouldn't want to listen to me. You want to sit here, ignore the product, and think you know what you're talking about. So I like the ignorant older person fail and say, and had a sad face that day when I was at McDonald's in Fifth Ward, right there on Lockwood. Y'all don't talk about years. Don't forget back in 2007, because my grandma had dropped me off. I was going downtown. I just missed the bus, or my dad dropped me off, and I went to go to McDonald's to get something to eat. I was going to a job interview, and what happened was, I met one of the sisters and I was getting some food from, I don't mean being McDonald's, and y'all, sorry, give me some McDonald's and some ice cream, and fries and whatever, and I think I was getting something frappe or whatever. No, I wasn't getting no coffee. Anyway, so point is, back the dollar menu, and she was there getting some too. And I told her, I said, how you doing? And he said, yeah. I said, how's church going? It's been a long time. I was in El Paso all this time. And she says, yeah, we had to get another priest and rent one. We don't got that much membership. This is the elderly sister. I see why. And he was like, why you won't join? Every time I try to put my input, y'all want to hear what I got to say. So I'm not going to listen to a bunch of people who I see a problem, you want to ignore it, you want to overlook it, you want to try to tell me a hush, tell me I'm acting a fool. I'm not listening to those who want to doubt. So I let y'all ride with your doubt. Okay? That's how I am. Okay? I let you ride. And she had a little sad face. See, you see what I'm talking about? Then too, y'all was in my family business when I was trying to be independent. You didn't want a brother like myself to be independent. That's also not her, but some other folks in the church. That's the whole reason why I thank you. See what happened when y'all play with the... Okay, thank you. Now... So that's the reason why. So my point is, a lot of white American Catholic people are attacking Pope Francis because he gonna do the job done. And they trying to make him be a part of the sexual scandal. When actually, it's people like them who are rigid, who don't listen to children, who think children should be trying to mimic what private evangelical fundamentalist people do, who don't care about children, care about their own well-being and over their children. They act like they treat the children like slaves, like property, a commodity. Okay? And that's now, so if you have a priest or any of you are Protestant or even a rabbi, Jewish, anybody who sees children as property, just like what happened in slavery, they rape. That's why many of us got white DNA. We part white. We ain't no pure Negroes. Okay, of course you're gonna treat anything you see a commodity like property. You take the idea of them being a human out of your head. You're gonna beat them. You're gonna curse them out. You're gonna molest them. You can do all these the humanization attitudes toward and behavior towards that person. So that's what it is. So when you're rigid like that, and you won't rigidity and power, and you have a pope telling you that is heresy, that's a false teaching. To be rigid, you're supposed to be compassionate. That even reading that Jesus said in the Gospels. Yeah, if you're not like that in the church, you're always gonna make the church look terrible and make the pope that's trying to do the right thing look terrible. That's what you're trying to do. So that's my theory on this. Is I gotta go, y'all. But yes, a lot of these old white, like the Bill O'Reilly type ones and Sean Hannity, they the ones trying to attack Pope Francis because they really want their white power with the white racist conservative Protestant power who's for religious rights. They want to be united with them, knowing that the folks in religious rights, like the Jerry Falwell and the Pat Robertson, who's going against Martin Luther King, they're none of their answers. Remember, I'm going to repeat what they said and what these folks were saying during 1963. About LBJ, who was corrupt as well, and Goldwater, Hillary Clinton's friend, okay, who was a white racist Republican. Over here in Alabama, we hate Negroism, Catholicism, Judaism, and all the other isms. So it's weird that you're part of the Catholicism and you maybe not a Negro, okay, but you want to be part of the crowd that says that. So you would choose that over your faith. Now, I'm not perfect. Many of us had chose things over, not put them as God or thing, but chose to do the right thing, chose sin and not the right. Many of us are guilty of that. However, you're supposed to be a true, good Catholic Christian, right? You're supposed to be more holy than I am, but you're not. You have former people who left AWTN and joined Fox News, like Raymond Otto, who's on white, Spanish, Creole, Italian. I think that's some black in there that's broad nose from Louisiana. Okay, you're gonna have that mess go on. So I see why that you sides with Reagan, because I never forget this. The Nation's Press, they have a lot of Catholic apologetic books and Bibles I bought over the years. I was so disgusted. What's the Terry Shiro? Okay, woman who was sick. Okay, they had Mark Farmer from the OJ trial, who is a big stone racist, book on their shelf. I was very upset back in the church. I said, who the heck? I said, really? Then they had a book saying that Ronald Reagan was one of the great presidents. Ronald Reagan was a W.A.S.P who didn't like Catholics either. And Jews, he used them just like Trump used Jews. Okay, thank you, okay, to for their agenda, but they're not like them. And Bush and Reagan is the reason why we have crack epidemic in crime and poverty and gangs and thugs and hood rats and choke rats and choke. Thank you. So to sit here and slap your people of color in the church and slap Jesus in the church that he founded and to put that on by Ronald Reagan and what's the dude's name? Mark Farmer. You gotta be a fool to do that mess. That's all I gotta say.